In this episode, we explore several famous dishes that appear on the British table. Let's begin. Among the many Indian dishes loved by the British, gulab jamun may not always be the most visually grand dish on the table, but it is almost always one of the most beloved desserts. Today, you can easily find affordable canned versions of gulab jamun in supermarkets across Britain. But if we follow its history more closely, the story behind this small dessert becomes much richer. Gulab jamun is generally associated with the culinary traditions that developed during the Mughal Empire, where Persian-influenced sweets and the Indian subcontinent's sophisticated dairy techniques began to merge. The earliest appearance of the word gulab jamun in English records dates to the 1917 Oxford English Dictionary. Its name reflects its cultural origins. Gulab comes from Persian and refers to rose water. Jamun refers to a small, dark fruit from the Indian subcontinent, the jamun fruit, or Indian black plum, whose round shape resembles the dessert itself. Traditionally, gulab jamun is made from milk, solids, flour, and ghee, kneaded into small balls. These are gently deep-fried until they turn golden brown, then soaked in a warm, rose-scented sugar syrup, allowing them to absorb the liquid and soften before being served. Originally, desserts of this type were often prepared in royal kitchens and festive banquets. But as South Asian cuisine spread internationally, gulab jamun gradually became a common sweet found in Indian restaurants around the world, including Britain. Another famous snack widely associated with Indian cuisine is the samosa. Its origins, however, likely lie further west. Many historians believe that the ancestors of the samosa came from the medieval Middle East, where similar pastries known as sambusak or sanbusaj were already being prepared. In earlier periods, cooking oil was relatively expensive, so these pastries were often baked rather than deep-fried. By the 13th and 14th centuries, the dish had traveled eastward through Central Asia and Persia, eventually reaching northern India under the rule of the Delhi Sultanate. Several historical figures even mentioned it. The famous 13th century poet and musician Amir Khusrau wrote about the delicacy. So did the renowned traveler Ibn Battuta, who described similar food served in the courts of Delhi. The samosa we recognize today, however, took shape later. In the 16th century, the potato, originally from the Americas, was introduced to South Asia by Portuguese traders. Over time, potatoes combined with peas became the classic vegetarian filling. Later, during the period of British rule in India, Indian foods began to travel to Britain along with migrants and traders. Meanwhile, advances in food technology made vegetable oils far cheaper and more widely available. Deep frying became increasingly practical and popular. Gradually, the samosa evolved into the crispy, deep-fried pastry familiar today. Traditionally, samosas are served hot, often accompanied by tamarind chutney, a dark, sweet and sour sauce. They may also be paired with a bright green sauce made from mint, yogurt, cumin, and chili. Today, samosas are so popular in Britain that major retailers such as Tesco, Sainsbury's, and Marks and Spencer sell standardized supermarket versions. What began as a medieval pastry has become a common British grab-and-go snack. Alongside samosas, another well-known Indian snack often served as an appetizer is bhaji, sometimes called pakora in different regions. Bhaji usually consists of vegetables coated in chickpea flour batter, then deep-fried until crisp. Unlike samosas, which wrap fillings inside a pastry shell, bhajis mix vegetables directly into the batter. This produces a completely integrated fritter. Bhajis often have a stronger and spicier flavor profile. Common varieties include onion bhaji, chili bhaji. In Britain, onion bhaji in particular has become a familiar starter in many Indian restaurants. Despite the similarity in name, pav bhaji is actually a very different dish. Rather than a fried snack, pav bhaji is a famous street food from Mumbai. The word pav is generally believed to come from the Portuguese word pão, meaning bread. The dish was reportedly developed in the 19th century, when textile mill workers in Bombay needed quick, filling meals. Vegetables such as onion, tomatoes, beans, and potatoes are mashed together with spices on a large, flat iron griddle. The mixture becomes a thick, spicy vegetable mash, known as bhaji. It is then served with butter-toasted bread rolls, or pav. Today in Britain, traditional bhaji often appears as a restaurant appetizer. But pav bhaji is more commonly found in casual eateries and street-style Indian food stalls. Of course, when people talk about Indian food in Britain, one dish inevitably takes center stage: curry. From early mentions in 18th century British cookbooks, to the opening of the first Indian restaurants in 19th century London, to the large waves of South Asian migration after World War II, the culinary exchange between Britain and India has unfolded over several centuries, and curry has always played a central role. One of the most famous dishes is Chicken Tikka Masala. In 2001, British Foreign Secretary Robin Cook famously described it as a true British national dish. A popular story connects the dish to the Pakistani chef Ali Ahmed Aslam in Glasgow during the 1970s, who is often credited with helping popularize a version of the dish. However, the exact origins of Chicken Tikka Masala remain widely debated. Another iconic curry is butter chicken, which is often associated with restaurants in Delhi during the late 1940s, particularly the famous Moti Mahal restaurant. The dish is known for its creamy tomato-based sauce, mild spice level, and rich buttery flavor. Beyond these famous dishes, Britain also developed its own distinctive curry styles. One example is Madras curry. Although its name refers to the South Indian city of Madras, now known as Chennai, the dish itself largely reflects the influence of British curry powder culture. During the Victorian era, British merchants began producing standardized curry powder blends, attempting to simplify the wide variety of spice mixtures used in Indian cooking. Many of these commercial spice blends were labeled Madras curry powder. Over time, the restaurant dish known as Madras curry emerged, typically featuring a tomato-based sauce with a relatively spicy flavor profile. Because the recipe was easy to reproduce, it became extremely popular. Today, Madras curry can be found everywhere, from takeaway menus to supermarket meal kits. Another well-known British Indian creation is Balti curry. Unlike traditional curries that simmer slowly, Balti curry is usually cooked quickly at high heat in a metal pan. The dish is widely associated with the city of Birmingham, where South Asian communities developed distinctive restaurant styles during the 1970s. Balti cooking typically begins with vegetable oil heated to a high temperature. Spices such as cumin seeds and mustard seeds are added first, followed by garlic, ginger, onions, and spice mixtures. Tomatoes or tomato paste form the base of the sauce. Pieces of chicken or lamb are then cooked rapidly before the dish is finished with fresh coriander. Compared with slower traditional curries, Balti dishes are lighter and quicker to prepare, making them ideal for busy restaurants. By the 1990s, Balti restaurants had become a defining feature of Birmingham's food culture. Traditionally, the curry is served in the same metal bowl used to cook it, and it is usually eaten with naan bread rather than rice. This simple combination, a bowl of curry and a piece of naan, remains one of the most recognizable images of British curry culture today. If this episode changed how you see the past, hit like and subscribe. Food Tales drops a new story every week, and the next one is already cooking.